Okay. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Fit 5136 Software Engineering. And today is the lecture for week 4, which is about Agile project management. And within the next 2 hours, I'm going to talk about what is the Agile project management. There are two frameworks that we want to talk about, the Scrum, the Kanban, and there are some events or meeting during the Agile process as well, or we call Agile ceremonies. I'm going to talk about that. What is that? And also about the software contract. Okay. Yep. So I think over the past few weeks, as you remember, right? Week 1, I talked about the introduction to software engineering, and the past 2 weeks, we talk about the requirement engineering. So that's the module 2. And right now, we're gonna let's say you already elicit the requirement, you already break down, write the user story, and then the next step, you need to think about which task or which feature that you really want to move to the next step or move from the backlog and put it into the work in progress, that kind of thing. So that's why today we're going to talk about how should we manage the project as a Scrum Master here. Okay. Yeah. So basically, what happened, right? During the Agile setting is that right now you are at the sprint planning meeting. You discuss with the team. Okay, these are the things that we need to do. But what should we do? Okay, then you start discussing, and then we're gonna say that yeah, okay, we're gonna work on the task 1, task 2, task 3. That's why we call the sprint backlog, and then you start working on it for on that sprint. Okay. All right. This is a short version short description, okay, about what this week is going to be, okay. Just want to remind you again that there are 12 principles of the Agile Manifesto. Okay. First, we focus on the customer satisfaction, changing requirement. We embrace the changing requirements. We embrace the frequent delivery. We communicate with the clients regularly. We really want to support the team member. Okay. And we encourage the face-to-face communication. We always measure the work in progress, and we focus on the development process as well. We focus on the good design, measure the progress, and continue to seek the results or reflect and adjust regularly as well. Nothing is perfect. It's about the reflection. Yeah, what did we do well over the past few weeks? What can be improved in the future? That kind of thing. That's about the reflection. All right. I got a video that actually explain the agile principles really well. I'm gonna open it now. Yeah.
Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to stay updated with Knowledge Hut.
Hello and welcome to Knowledge Hut. In this video, we will be discussing the 12 Agile principles which are followed in Agile project management. But before watching this video, we recommend you are aware of the values of the Agile Manifesto. Let us understand the 12 principles of the Agile project management. First principle. Our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. It's true that it takes a lot of time and effort to build a product, but at the end of the day, what makes a customer happy is a valuable working software. This is why the principle emphasizes on early and continuous delivery of the software. Second principle. Welcome changing requirements even late in development. Agile processes harness change for the customer's competitive advantage. Agile believes in empiricism. We become more knowledgeable when we have spent time working on something. In the beginning, we may have a lot of knowledge, but not as much as we have after the commencement of work. Similarly, our customers understand their needs even more clearly after seeing the increment provided by us. This is why this principle welcomes changing requirements from the customers so that the process remains empirical and the customer gets what is required to stay in the competition. Third principle. Deliver working software frequently, from a couple of weeks to a couple of months, with a preference to the shorter timescale. This principle emphasizes on the frequent delivery of product, as frequent delivery helps the development process to be more agile. With frequent delivery, you mitigate the risks in your release, you get faster feedback from the customer, and hence you can bring changes in the product before it's too late. Fourth principle. Business people and developers must work together daily throughout the project. This principle helps in keeping the business aspect and the technical aspect of the product to the same page. When business people and developers work together, they gain a common understanding of the direction towards which the project is moving. The development team also gets an end-user view from the business side. It brings transparency and fluency in the whole development process. Fifth principle. Build projects around motivated individuals, give them the environment and support they need, and trust them to get the job done. This principle emphasizes on having motivated team members. When people are motivated to do their work, they produce results which can never be produced by people who are forced to get the job done. Therefore, give them the environment and support they need so that they can create superior products. Sixth principle. The most efficient and effective method of conveying information to and within a development team is face-to-face conversation. Most of the communication in a project is about project process or project content. It is crucial for the success of the project that the development team understands the right information correctly. Written communication is prone to ambiguity, whereas face-to-face conversation provide the ground for prompt clarification and quicker communication. As a result, product development becomes faster and precise. Seventh principle. Working software is the primary measure of progress. As we know that working software is most valuable for the customer, the planning of construction of the product has no direct benefits for them until a working software is not given in their hands. Therefore, measuring of project's progress should be based on the actual working software. A software is not finished when it is successfully tested and delivered. It is finished when it is tested and accepted by the end user. Eighth principle. Agile processes promote sustainable development. The sponsors, developers, and users should be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely. Software development is like running a marathon. You have to maintain the speed, but you shouldn't run so fast that you exhaust yourself. Similarly, sustainable development happens when you do constant production of software features during a long-lasting period. Ninth principle. Continuous attention to technical excellence and good design enhances agility. Agile focuses on development of software like a craftsmanship, rather than just working on a regular task. Continuous attention to technical excellence and good design helps in bringing this craftsmanship to the project. 10th principle. Simplicity. The art of maximizing the amount of work not done is essential. More features makes a product more complex. Complex codes are difficult to test, maintain, and develop. Sometimes products have features which are so rarely used that their development and maintenance results in a negative ROI. Therefore, it is better to create a product which does a few things extraordinarily and is completely useful for someone rather than creating a software which tries to do everything, does nothing extraordinarily, and is not useful to anyone. 11th principle. The best architectures, requirements, and designs emerge from self-organizing teams. A self-organizing team is one that does not depend on or wait for others to assign work. Instead, these teams find their own work and manage the associated responsibilities and timelines. They take on the responsibility of choosing the most effective and efficient way to complete their work and regularly look for ways to improve through experimentation. While self-organizing teams don't require a manager to assign work, set deadlines, and so on, they do require a mentor who can help grow their skills. Having self-organizing team promotes collaboration, teamwork, competency, regular growth, motivation, and commitment. And hence, the best architecture, requirements, and designs emerge from such teams. The 12th principle. At regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective, then tunes and adjusts its behavior accordingly. Agile encourages continuous improvements and productivity. When a team reflects on how to become more effective and adjusts its behavior accordingly at regular intervals, it brings continuous improvement in itself and increases its productivity. So these were the 12 principles of Agile. We hope this video helped you in taking your knowledge in Agile further.
Okay, thank you. I think, yeah, surprisingly, I watch this video every semester, every year. It keeps reminding me how should we manage the project effectively, or how should we enable the agile principles. Yeah, which is really useful. Okay, and I hope that everyone will adopt this kind of 12 principles in your assessment as well. All right. Okay, so next, I really want to talk about the iron triangle. Okay, in terms of the agile project management, whether it is going to be success or fail, it really matters. It really depends on these three key factors. Okay, or we call triple constraint. First is the cost, time. Okay, second one is the time, and third is the scope. Okay, these three factors actually will help the project manager or the scrum master to determine whether at the end the product will be of high quality or not. Okay, so basically, yeah, based on the description here, is a fundamental concept in project management, representing three key factors that must be balanced to ensure the successful completions of a project. Really important. Okay, emphasize again: cost, the time, and the scope. Nothing or none of these should be high or low. Okay, for example, we have lots of time, we have lots of scope, but we don't have resources or the cost that we need to afford it, right? So we cannot really achieve or execute anything. Or we have $1 million, and then but we have only 1 day to execute or build another open AI company. That's also impossible as well. Do you see my point? Or you have $1 billion resources, you have 100 years of time, okay, and the scope is like more like really huge. Sometimes it is also impossible as well. Okay, but in real world we don't have I mean, when we have like $1 million, it's a bit unrealistic, right? Like in real world, probably I should say that, yeah, in terms of the cost, we have only $10,000. We want to ship a feature in 1 day, but the scope is way too big. What should we do? That kind of thing. So as a project management or project manager, you really need to balance these three factors equally. Okay. Yeah. Something to keep that in mind. All right. So when we talk about the scope, right, it's really about the work that needs to be done in order to deliver the project, okay? And it's actually include all of the features, the functions, deliverables, and deliverables here is not just only the source code, okay? First, when you deliver the source code, who's gonna use it? Because in real world, you need to deploy, okay? Put everything in production, and it's not just only the production. Do you need sometimes you need like a developer documentation, the API documentation, or how should you packages everything and deliver to the client. Okay, so my point, deliverables is not just only the code. No one cares about the code because no one can use it. They really need the piece of the software. Okay, yeah, that's the real world. And if the scope increase, it can impact the other two constraints, which is time and the cost, right? Okay, so yeah, very intuitive here. And in terms of the scope, okay, when uh, when when uh, when the scope increase, it can impact the other two constraint, which is time and the cost. And it means that when the scope increase, is like sometimes the complexity is increased, the quantity of the finished product is impacted, that kind of thing. It will impact the output quality, the details, that kind of thing. There are lots of elements that actually could impact the project management. Okay, and these are the factors that related to the scope. Okay, scope, my point again. Okay, complexity here is like, yeah, we need to develop the payment feature. But the complexity it is, first we need to deal with the bank. What is the API that we're going to use? How can we make sure that the payment gateway between the supplier and the bank is actually safe and secure? Do we need to think about the encryption of the credit card numbers along the way? Do you see my point? It's not just like, yeah, implement something quick and easy, dirty and done, and then we can finish and deliver the piece of software. It's unsecure. When you get cyber security incident, then boom, okay, good luck, okay. You get the point, okay. Complexity, sometimes one feature is really complex. It's not like an easy thing to be done, okay. Time, this is really important. We don't have unlimited time in real world, in real life. Everything has a schedule, it has a time frame, which is really limited and tight. And in a company or corporates, they want to ship something in 3 months, right? It's not like, yeah, at uni, you like by the end of semester, you got one proposal, another semester, you got nothing, okay? In real world, you get fired, definitely. You won't get any job, okay? I really want to remind you, everyone here. In real world, everything ships every 3 months, okay? And the priorities also change every 3 months or the quarter as well. So time is really limited. Then the next step is that how should you maintain the productivity at the highest level so that you can stay within the industry, okay? Projects also have deadlines and meetings. Those deadlines is really crucial for the success. Definitely, if we don't have deadlines and then we don't have the due date or when that we need to deliver the piece of the software, right? So that's why meeting the deadline is really important. Change in the scope or resources can affect the project timeline. This is really important. For example, you work on a project one day, oh, your colleague's gone, okay, oh, bye-bye, I need to work, I would like to resign, leave the company and work on the other company, that kind of thing. This is like the turnover of the human resources or developers within the team often happen in real world, okay? So that's why we need to find a better way to manage the project. Otherwise, and mitigate the risk as much as possible. Otherwise, the project can be crashed and fail as well. Okay, and then finally, you cannot really deliver any piece of software. There are some elements of time that might include, okay, for example, overall project timeline, let's say 6 months, hours of work on a project. Like I was hired to work on this project, but the question is that, is this the only project that I need to work on, or do I need to work on the other projects as well? So times may be limited among individuals, right? And internal calendars, goal posts, time allocate for planning and the strategy, numbers of the project phases. Sometimes you have milestone. Sometimes you have sometimes you need to spend time on the planning, the strategy, admin, that kind of thing. So not everyone have equal amount of time, but the way they spend totally different. CEO may spend on something else, okay, or some other task like planning and the strategy rather than coding, okay. So that different individuals have different KPIs, they have different targets, but they yeah, but they have the same time, okay. That means to work on for the company. Cost. Every companies really want to cut the cost at the moment. It is about the budget allocated for the project, okay? And this also include the financial resources that need to be complete the project successfully, right? And any change in the scope or the unexpected event can also impact the project cost as well. For example, okay, in real world, let's say this is the we want to deliver some piece of the software for a project 6 months, okay, 6 months. We for based on this kind of scope, we need let's say two software engineers, let's say 100K each. Then probably the total project cost for this one could be like roughly 200K for the next 6 months. But the cost is the cost. It doesn't mean that it is the price that we're going to charge the customer, that kind of thing. You need to get the margin, compute the margin as well. Let's say you factor in the margin. That's the part that will help you manage the project or mitigate the risk along the way as well. Do you get my point? Okay. And however, right, um, there are four causes of the scope creep. I will talk about what is the definitions of the scope creep later on, okay? But the four root cause here, first, if you don't define the project scope clearly, okay, or you apply the poor project management practices, okay, or you have a lack of proper communication between the stakeholder and the project, right? Or you inconsistently manage the change in the project scope, that kind of thing. In one document you document like this, for the other one you document the other way. This kind of inconsistency will create lots of issues in the project. Okay, so it will lead to lead to scope creep. Okay, and what exactly is the scope creep? It is the gradual expansion or uncontrolled changes in a project scope. For example, the feature requirement change, or one day, yesterday the client want this, tomorrow the client wants another feature. This kind of volatile or dynamic change of the requirement beyond the initially agreed upon boundaries, right? It will impact your project management. Okay, yeah, impact your project, which include not just the scope but also time and the cost as well. Okay, this is called scope creep. Okay, something suddenly happen, okay, to the scope, which later on it will impact the time. Okay, maybe, oh my goodness, new feature is coming, I need to do something, and then you need to rush to implement that feature, work at night. Okay, cannot sleep, tomorrow you ship something. Okay, ship the feature, that kind of thing. Okay, it will impact the time and the cost. All right. Occurs, okay, scope creep normally occurs when additional work is introduced without proper evaluation or approval. Okay, for example, right? Yeah, like let's say you are an engineer and the client try to convince you, hey, Mr. A, can you add this kind of feature? It is so important and things like that, right? But later on, the project manager find out that, hey, dude, this is not what we agree at the beginning in the boundaries, right? So my point is that when you are as a software engineers, when you don't apply like a highly skilled project management, then it could impact yourself. Okay, and then later on you need to implement something that is actually outside of the defined boundaries that the project manager or the business analyst or the product owner agrees with the client from the beginning. Make sense? Okay, that's the scope creep. Or it can often lead to the increased project complexity, timelines, and the cost, definitely. Okay, so for example, today, the payment gateway, okay, for course application, we want just only MasterCard and the Visa. Tomorrow, or someone want the PayPal. The other day, they want the Bitcoin. It's like, yeah, come on. They just keep increasing the requirement and things getting complex and complex, right? Do you get my point? Okay, so yeah, we need to be careful about the scope creep when you engage with the customer, clients, or the product owners. All right, so you should exercise caution to prevent the scope creep by thoroughly completing the project plans, securing approval from project stakeholders for all of the aspects before initiating production. Okay, yeah, that's a key point about the scope creep. Fantastic. I believe everyone really like the poll everywhere activities, but what about we do something now? Okay, let's check whether everyone have a good understanding of what we learning today or not. All right, there we go. Okay, what do you have access, everyone? Okay, we see some response. All right. This is a poll everywhere. I encourage everyone to participate in this one just to check your understanding whether you understand the concept correctly or not, right? Okay. And the question here is that according to the Agile Manifesto, what should be the primary measures of the progress? All right, there we go. Yeah, okay. I think this question and the answer is pretty clear. The answer is also clear as well. What should be the primary measures of the progress? Okay. All right. Let's lock the question and see the response together. What do you think should be the working software? C. Okay. Yeah, meeting deadline. Okay. Yeah, kind of. Okay, but I think the real primary measures of the progress, if you can deliver the working software regularly, it means that you actually meet the deadlines anyway. Following the plan, not really, because sometimes you follow the plan. Uh, how can I say? What plan, right? Like you follow the plan, but if the plan is unclear, then then there's no progress anyway. You get my point? Yeah, for example, like next week I'm gonna complete the documentation, but what kind of documentation that you are going to complete, whether it is of high quality or not, there are other questions as well, right? But if you deliver the real working piece of the software, then that's the iteration, the very good iteration, okay? Comprehensive documentation is not aligned with the agile values at all, so it shouldn't, okay, be the correct answer. All right. Next question. Okay, which principle of the agile manifesto emphasizes the importance of the self-organizing team? Aha. Which principles of the agile manifesto emphasize the importance of the self-organizing team? Okay. I think, yeah, I got the answer. Okay. Pretty clear. Okay. Let's see the response, everyone. Should we choose D dog? Okay, the option D. Beautiful. Excellent. Well done, everyone. 81%. Okay. So when you build the projects around motivated individuals, like, oh, I'm so motivated to do this A, B, C, D, and then whenever you give them the environment and the support that they need, trust them that they're gonna get the job done, and then it will be a very self-organizing team. So that means they can organize by themselves. They know what to do, what it needs to be delivered, that kind of thing. All right. Okay. Easy. Good. All right. Next. Okay. In the Agile Manifesto, what is value more than the contract negotiation? Go for it. Okay, someone changed their mind. All right, good, 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 good. Thank you. Okay, all right, fantastic. I see the increasing numbers of the response. Okay, very good. Thank you so much. Really appreciate. So, in the Agile Manifesto, what is value more than the contract negotiation? Definitely, I think it should be customer collaboration. Okay, correct. Okay, 74%. I follow the majorities of the student. Definitely. Okay, yeah, we really highly value the customer collaboration over the contract negotiation. Sometimes negotiation end up with nothing, and then uh, it doesn't help. So my point is that when you start negotiating something, the client or the customer may feel a little bit offensive, okay? And then, but if you change the tone in the sense of the customer collaboration, right? Oh, I really want to work alongside with you. Okay, these are the problems. What about we try to solve this kind of thing together? We see the values and things like that. Then this is really more agile because we value the customer relationship, customer collaboration more than anything else. Okay, all right, just so you know. Next, what are the three constraints in project management commonly represented as a triangle? Go for it. Okay, go for it. Okay, all right, good, good, good. Okay, let's see the response. I hope we're gonna get 100%, all right? Time, cost, and the scope. Ah, nearly. Maybe one person, one response didn't get it right. Okay, so the three constraints in the project management, if you remember, I just mentioned, right? The iron triangle or the triple constraint, they are time, cost, and the scope, nothing else. Okay, yeah. You can follow check the slide later as well. All right, next. In project management, what does the term scope creep refer to? Yeah. What is that? Okay, very good, very quick. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Yeah, should be option C, all right? Unauthorized changes or additions to the project scope. The question, scope creep, nothing else. It should not be about the time, it should not be about the cost, but what the term scope creep refer to is about the scope. And the only option in these three options here, okay, is the C, unauthorized changes or additions to the project scope. All right, okay, yeah, good. Thank you. Next. Ah, it was fun. Okay. Who are, oh, okay, sorry, not yet. All right. Next, back to this one. All right, scope creep. Okay, so in short, right, the scope creep is really bad for everyone. It will impact the whole team. Okay, you don't like it as a user. Yeah, nothing gets delivered. Everyone got frustrated. Your company, you need to spend more money to hire people, extend the project, that kind of thing. Project manager yourself, maybe you cannot deliver the project on time. The project stakeholder are not happy. Oh man, that's a nightmare. Okay, this is a nightmare. Uh, Make sure that it will not happen in your assessment. Okay, full stop. Okay, all right. Scrum. Okay, Scrum. So, I think as I mentioned in the week one, right? Um, Agile is really about the principle, the high level things, but how should we execute it? Okay, the Agile principles. There are two framework that are how can I say most popular. Okay, the most popular Agile framework. Okay, they are Scrum and the Kanban. But we're gonna talk about the Scrum slowly, okay, together. Let's break down, okay, break down this one. All right. So, um, okay, let's take a look at one by one here, okay. First, right, this is what happened in real world. In the complex world, okay, more is unknown more than known, okay. For example, as I said, I want as a customer, they want the payment gateway, okay, to pay something online shopping. But then, this is what is known. We want they want the payment gateway, payment channel, that kind of thing. But what is unknown? Okay, first, yeah, how to pay, Apple Pay, Bitcoin, what kind of payment option that we need to consider, that kind of thing. So that's why there are so many things that are unknown, right? Let's say if they want payment option with the Bitcoin, do we need to consider about the exchange rate? What about the volatility of the Bitcoin price? What about the fees? How should the finance or the accounting team generate the invoice, the report? How do we need to make sure that it is legally compliant? That kind of thing. Like there's so many things, right? Okay, that's why, yeah, working in the industry is really, yeah, lots of things to think about. Okay. All right. Next, the unknown is discovered by releasing done increments early and often. It helps a lot. That's why I try to mention at the beginning rapid prototyping. Once you get the first prototype, you don't expect that the customer is going to say, yeah, this is exactly what we want. Okay. Maybe they just say, yeah, kind of yes, but this is not what we want yet. Okay. This is what we want. Now they know what do they want. Okay. And most of the time they don't know what do they want. Okay. This is a classic client management. Okay. With these increments, we validate the assumption. For example, we thought that we're gonna they want this, they want that, right? But you have the prototype incrementally update, um, engage with the customer, engage with the clients. It helps you a lot to validate whether this is right or not. This is what they want or not. Okay, it helps you a lot. So regular communication with the clients is the first thing that you need to do. Okay, but you need to ask questions correctly as well. Yeah, we learn what is needed and avoid the risk of spending time and money on the wrong things, right? For example, if you assume that, yeah, maybe they want Bitcoin, maybe they want Bitcoin as an option. But once you finish the wireframe, the UI mockup, present to them, oh, sorry, this is not what we want, okay? We don't accept Bitcoin payment here, it's too volatile, for example, okay? As a result, we can deliver more value to our stakeholders sooner. Correct, because whenever the requirement is clear, then you deliver it. Okay, so these are the motivation why the Scrum framework is needed. And then the next step, I'm gonna talk about how the Scrum framework works. Okay, all right. First thing first, at the beginning. Okay, maybe there are too many circles here. Okay, this is at the beginning of the Scrum event. Okay, first we have stakeholder, the clients. As a product owner, okay, you know the draft of the product goal. Okay, the goal of this product, we want to develop an online shopping platform whatsoever to increase the revenue, increase the yeah the income whatsoever, right? Okay, so there are lots of features and blah blah blah. All right, and then once you discuss with the engineers, okay, what about the first feature? We need the catalog. Without the catalog, who's gonna buy it? All right. Okay, the first feature, let's develop a catalog. Okay. Then they brainstorm, okay, with a shopping catalog or the product list. What should be the feature? How does the feature look like? How the user should interact with that feature? How the database should store what would be the right data structure, that kind of thing, right? Are we accepting the third party suppliers, that kind of thing? You know what I mean? Okay. So once you discuss, define the scope, right? That's a sprint goal. Okay, all right. First, within the next 2 weeks, we're gonna ship the product catalog feature. Okay. Discuss these are the things that we need to do. Put everything, okay, from the product backlog into the sprint backlog. Product backlog is everything. Okay. This is what we need to do, but we cannot do it now. Sprint backlog is what are the things that you need to do over the next sprint within this sprint. Okay. Within this sprint. And the sprint can last 1 week or 2 weeks. It really depends on the team. All right. Okay. Once you got the sprint backlog, and then every day you can have like a daily scrum meeting. Okay. As a check-in. Okay. As a product owner, hey guys, how are you going? So what do you plan to do today? This is our sprint goal. We need to ship the product catalog. Okay. These are the things that we need to do for over this sprint. Have you finished this? Are you doing this? That kind of thing. And then you know, right? Let's say you have like 10 to dos to complete in 2 weeks, and then you haven't started working on anything or only one, but we are nearly approaching the end of the week, then something bad is going to happen, right? So, or you have move the card or manage the project correctly, and then everything is going well. Oh, it looks like you're gonna ship everything. Everything is done. You already define the definitions of done, as I already mentioned before. That yeah, once you finish the implementation, it doesn't consider as done. Okay, it should be considered as done as once you meet the definitions of done. Okay, so once you finish the continue develop the feature and blah blah blah, that kind of thing, by the end of the sprint, okay, we call sprint review. Sprint review, you're gonna meet with the customer or the stakeholder, you present the feature. Hey guys, okay, this is our feature. What do you think? Okay, we have to do this A, B, C, D, blah, blah, blah. All right. And then they make the client may give you the feedback that, okay, yeah, everything looks right. Let's do this more, let's do this more, blah, blah, blah. And then now you conduct the sprint retrospective. Okay, that's another event in the Agile Scrum meeting. Okay, that okay, what did we do well? What can we improve in the future and things like that. Okay, so during the Scrum, it's not just only the individuals or the engineers. It's about the team. We are talking about the team. We need to work as a team, and the team here we are talking about the product owner, the engineers, and the scrum master. Sometimes you include the UX UI engineers as well, or designer, that kind of thing. All right. Okay. So for the Scrum framework, it is really built upon these five values. Commitment, we commit, okay, that by the end of the sprint, this is what we are going to deliver. We focus for each of the sprint, you know the goal, okay? You don't do things randomly. You need to know what is the goal of this sprint. By the end of the next 2 weeks, this is what I need to ship, okay? All done. But because you work as a team, you need to be respectful as well. You respect someone else. You discuss with your colleagues, be collegial, that kind of thing. All right. But at the same time, you this is like an inclusive or open discussion. You also welcome changes, welcome thoughts, okay, from the stakeholder, from the clients, that kind of thing as well. All right. Okay. These are the five values that underpin the Scrum framework. So, and in terms of the commitment, as I mentioned before, you need to define the product goal. Everything is already defined. Okay, you define what is the sprint goal. That's the commitment. Okay, that we by the end of the sprint, this is the goal, and we need to ship it. And how do you know whether whatever you want to ship is considered done? So you define the definitions of done or DOD. Okay, and yeah, with the Scrum framework, we focus on the transparency, inspection, adaptation. We welcome changes. All right. So, oh yeah, that's a comprehensive descriptions of the Scrum framework. I hope. Okay. I hope you like it. Ah, my goodness. Why we talk about what is Scrum? Okay. So in short, Scrum is an iterative incremental framework by the book. I already explained everything. If you want to learn more, go to the scrumprimer.org, that kind of thing. So in short, what is Scrum? It's not a programming method. It's not even specific to the IT. Scrum can be used in the designer or design. Scrum can be used in the manufacturing as well. Scrum can be used in the HR, can be used in the marketing campaigns. Okay, marketing, for example. Okay, uh, within this week, we need to advertise, do the marketing campaign for the A, B, C, D company. Who's gonna work on what? Okay, this person work on the Facebook, another person work on the TikTok, that kind of thing. So Scrum is not just only for the software development, but it can be used for the other industry as well. All right. It is just a way to organize groups of people to deliver something. That's the key goal of the Scrum. Just a way, okay, to organize groups of people to deliver something. But if the groups of people they are not capable or inefficient, okay, then you cannot deliver anything. Okay. My point, okay, if everyone knows, this is just a funny story. You know Atlassian Company, okay? Atlassian Company is an agile company. They build the products around Trello. Everyone use it. Everyone use, and I mean they build also other product as well. Jira, project management, that kind of thing that also help agile project. Okay, so people in the past, like top company, top consulting firm, believe that yeah, whenever we become Atlassian customer, we buy Trello, we are agile. Okay, it's no, right? Think about yourself. You work as a team with your teammates, with your student, your colleagues. You use Trello at the moment, but you need to ask yourself: do you actually apply the Agile or the Scrum framework into the Trello? So you buy Trello doesn't mean that you are Agile. No, okay. There's no relationship there. All right. You need to know how to apply the Agile or the Scrum framework here. Yeah, but you only use the Scrum, okay, as a way to deliver something and use the Trello as a tool to manage the project, okay? But whether the project is going well or not is really about human, okay? Not the tool, okay? Full stop, okay? Any questions so far, everyone? I really like this lecture. Question? No? Okay. If you have any question, just ask. Okay. So Scrum in one picture. Oh, I don't need to repeat this. Okay. I already talked about this one. Then okay, we're gonna move on. Okay. Um, what is that? Anything important here? Yes, Scrum is not the once-off activity. It's a iteration framework. Okay. You need to deliver the working software for each of the iteration, that kind of thing. And yeah, that's it. Okay. This actually explain everything that I just mentioned. Okay, by the end of the sprint, you need to do the product review here. Yeah, deliver to the customer, talk to the customer, and then and things like that. Okay, so within the team, okay, in real world, the Scrum normally the team consists of one Scrum Master, the product owner, the team members, which is like software engineers. So roughly 7 ± 2 people. Okay, and then you also need the client. Or the customer as well as stakeholders, and sometimes you may want to work with other people in the organization as well, like senior management executives. All right, okay, or someone who actually use your products. Okay. uh what else? So the role of the Scrum Master, what I want to mention here is that it doesn't mean that all of the teams or all of the companies need Scrum Master. Okay. Scrum Master is needed for the early adoptions of the Agile. Okay. But once the team is mature, they know the Agile Scrum framework, they know how to run the team. We really don't need the Scrum Master. Okay. Just FYI. That means sometimes when you apply for jobs, if you want to say that, yeah, I want to be a Scrum Master, sometimes they may not be the highest priority, okay? Because the Scrum Master, they are not manage the project. They just facilitate that everyone is aligned with the Scrum framework. That's it, okay? So the values of the of being Scrum Master is not really I don't want to say that it cannot be compared with the engineers, okay? But my point is that we don't need Scrum Master for all of the time, okay? That's why sometimes Scrum Master is actually coming from the outsourced company. Let's say I work in a company, let's say Coles. Oh yeah, we don't know how to manage the project. Let's bring the outsourced company, okay? Talk to the Accenture consulting firm. Okay, can you come in and help us being a Scrum Master for this team and see how to facilitate the project, right? Okay, and once the team, the development team knows that okay, this is the way to run the Scrum Master, and then they can offload the Scrum Master as well. Okay, makes sense, everyone. All right. Oh, I mentioned I present realistically, okay, I don't need the slide. I can just keep talking for the whole lecture. I don't need the slide at all. Scrum Master, again, is not the traditional project manager. It's not. They don't manage the project. Full stop, okay? Scrum Master don't manage the project. They don't give the requirement as well, okay? And but the big difference is actually they help, okay? The Scrum Master helps team to come to the consensus rather than making the decision or issue the commands. Or issue the commands mean like, okay, you do this, you do that. No, no, no. They try to facilitate, okay? They are being a facilitator, okay? Similar responsibility in non-Scrum projects might fall to someone called an Agile coach or even a project manager. Yeah, sometimes they call project manager, but it's not, okay? In real world, yeah, Agile coach maybe. That's why I said, um, let's say we working in the team, we don't know how to run the Agile, we can outsource, hire someone. Can you come be an Agile coach for our team? That kind of thing, okay? But for your case, your the in the university environment, like when you work on the assessment, you could treat the tutor, your own tutor, as an agile coach or the scrum master, right? The tutors should help you facilitate the scrum framework. Okay, these are the things that you need to do next, A, B, C, D, things like that. But they should not tell you what should you do next. Okay, they are not your project manager at all. Project role, okay? Stopping things from interfering with the project. And I mean, sometimes when you work as a team, some team member could be emotional, that kind of thing, and the scrum master maybe is the right person to step in, okay, and help clear the air, that kind of thing within the team, make sure that the team can move forward, okay. All right. So basically, they should act as a servant leader or a facilitator. They don't manage the project at all. Done? Okay. Servant leadership, what does it mean here? So it's really about the leadership skill or the service that the Scrum Master really want to provide to the project. Okay. They don't demand, but the Scrum Master should work alongside at the same level as everyone. Okay. They don't be a commander. You do this, you do that. Why you don't do it? Okay, no. They should not do that. Okay, the Scrum Master should not speak like that at all. Okay, we always welcome the inclusive environment. They should work alongside with you, and then okay, I got this kind of problem. Uh, what should be the next step, that kind of thing. It's more like the process. Okay, so they organize the sprint activities, help team understand the agile scrum principles, how they impact the team activities and things like that. Okay, make sure that the team and the product owner understand each other. Sometimes they have some misunderstanding. Scrum master has to jump in and clarify, okay, is this the thing that you want, is this something feasible or not to implement, and things like that. Okay, so basically they help the product owner manage the backlog. All right, make sure that they understand it well enough to maximize the values, or also help select the priorities for the sprint as well. Yep. Okay, so question, initially a project might have both project manager and scrum master in one team. Yes, possible. As I mentioned, scrum master is not the project manager. And sometimes if you want the team to be very lean in the sense that, okay, let's say you work with a client, you have a budget of 10K. 10K, deliver something in a month, you cannot hire like 10 people to work on it. Sometimes you can have only three, and three, the leanest team that it could be is first the product owner, and the product owner act as someone who interact with the client and also manage the project as well. So sometimes project manager does not exist as well. Okay, sometimes in real world software development practices, they only have the product owners and the engineering team. Okay, product owners manage the project, elicit the requirement, talk to the client, define the priorities. These are the things that we need to do. A, B, C, D. Engineers do it. Blah, done. Blah, blah, blah. Okay? Make sense? Yeah. So it really depends on the context of the project. But let's say if I'm too rich, we're gonna hire everyone anyway. Yeah. But the leanest one, okay, is the product owner and the engineers. Yeah. All right. Yep. Where are we? Yeah, okay. So everything is the same as I mentioned. It's about facilitation. They Scrum Master work as a facilitator, things like that. Scrum Master should make collaboration more easy. Clear the air when they have some negotiation or conflict, that kind of thing. Okay. Make sure that everybody voice is heard. Okay. Stimulate the discussion if it flags. Not everyone is extrovert. Some engineers are very introvert, but there must be a way that Scrum Master is really about communication skill. How should we engage with the introverts or someone who are afraid to talk, okay, or speak, to make sure that they open and they share some thought with the team and things like that. They should prevent the discussion from degenerating into argument. Yeah, avoid the argument, no emotion. Help team achieve consensus rather than making all of the decision. Yeah, Scrum Master don't make any decision. It should be the team consensus. Everyone agrees. Okay, let's do A, B, C, D. Yeah. It's like your workshop facilitator. This is like a tutor, right? They should be do the similar things. Okay, yeah, that's why we call workshop facilitator. All right, good. Product owners, okay. Basically, they are responsible for deciding the contents of the product backlog. They determine the priorities, decide the priorities for each of the sprint, the goal. They should take responsibility of whatever the engineers implement, and discuss about the returns of the investment as well. Let's say we have like, yeah, 10 features for the course application. The question, should we implement the login as a first feature? Like it doesn't generate any income. Does it deliver any values? You get my point? But most of the uh like new software engineers, yeah, the first thing we need to do, let's develop the login. Okay. Yeah. All right, next. So the product owner, normally they may be customer, they may be a representative of the customer, or they just basically product owner represent the customer. They know what this is what the customer want. Okay, they it's more like a requirement engineers or the business analysts. They're the same roles. It depends on what company how the companies want to call them. Okay. The product owner is one person. Yes, normally we have only one person in a team. Arguments between the product owners would be very bad. I agree. Okay, because the product owner is like project manager. They determine everything. Okay, where they get information from is beyond the scope of the Scrum. Team gives them technical info, but as far as the product knowledge is concerned, the process model doesn't care. So basically, product owner look after the product backlog, everything, prioritize everything. All right, that the team members normally software engineers, uh, uh, okay, so they are not just the coders, but sometimes they need to be the tester as well. Right now, I mean, again, for the companies or the industry or team that they want the team to be very lean, they don't have lots of budget. That means engineers have to be the full stack engineers, right? Like they develop the code, elicit the requirement, write the test cases, QA their own code as well. That kind of thing. They need to do everything. It's not just like, yeah, I write the code, someone else test it, okay? No, it doesn't exist right now, okay? That means there's no formal structure as well. But so in real world, okay, in short, uh, normally the team members here, uh, they are normally the software engineers. Okay. Yep, done. All right. In business, a silo is a system or group that has sole access to a particular skill set or kind of data. Only QA team know about the QA. Only the database admin knows about the database, right? And this is what happened in the past. Let's say, like really waterfall. Waterfall means that, let's say, this is the org, okay? We have the CEO. You have different org chart here. This is the org chart. You have the dev team, okay? You have the QA team. You have the requirement team, and whatsoever you have the deployment team, and then they never work with each other. And then sometimes, okay, we got a project. Let's put this guy here, put this guy here, put this guy here, put this guy here. This is a team work on something, okay? And then or sometimes, okay, we don't need the QA now. Let's get the dev, okay, blah, blah, blah here. And now, once we finish the product, hand over to the QA. QA is just like, what is that? Okay. That's why most of the projects, like a decade ago, is often fail. All right. Because they don't talk to each other. And that's a silo. Okay. And in real world, don't do the silo. We need to be collaborative. Okay. The earlier you communicate, it will mitigate the conflict and it will brings every stakeholder to the same onto the same page. All right. Okay. Potential source of problems in the Agile team. Yeah, blah blah blah. Okay. So I explain everything within this slide. That's why Agile teams need to guard against the siloing. It's okay to have specialists on the team, but they have to be open to sharing their skills and knowledge with the teammates as well, and also to learning new skills and the knowledge. build some time for training into the sprint plan as well. For example, let's say one team member, oh, I'm so good about AI coding agent. Oh, what about let's set up one day, I'm going to teach you how to use the AI coding agent and blah, blah, blah. So you actually share the knowledge, bring the team, okay, up to the same level as yourself, right? And then the work will be much more collaborative and everyone is aligned with what you think. Why do we need this and things like that? Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Hold everywhere again. Beautiful. Let me think. Where are we? There we go. Can you respond it or not? Okay. What is the primary responsibility of the product owner in Scrum? Okay. All right. What is the primary responsibility of the product owner in Scrum? Okay, let's see the response. Okay, facilitate the Scrum event. Yes, definitely. Product owner? No, that's a Scrum Master. Okay, maximize the value of the product and the work of the development team. Yep, option C. There we go, 89%. Very good. So, the choice one, right? That's the role of the Scrum Master. Okay, manage the team budget. No, not really. Any of these. Okay, write code and then develop features that the software engineers. All right, good. All right, next. What is the purpose of a sprint in Scrum? Okay, purpose of the sprint in Scrum. What is that? Okay. All right. Let's see the response together, okay? So what is the purpose of a sprint in the Scrum? To plan the entire project? No, okay? Sprint is just like 1 week or 2 weeks, okay? To review the project progress? Not really, okay? To gather the requirement? Normally the product owner need to gather the requirement from the beginning. Sprint is really about when you start the developing something already. So, okay, so to create a potentially shippable product increment. That's correct. Okay, that's the purpose of the sprint. All right, 70%. Well done. Okay, yeah. Next. What is the durations of a typical sprint in Scrum? Oh, I keep emphasizing this like million times. All right, let's see the response. Too easy. 2 weeks. Okay, it can be something else. Huh, not 1 month. Okay, 1 month is too long. All right, sprint is like sprint. You want to run and finish something quick. 1 month is too long in real world. Okay. Yeah. Sometime 1 month you can get a product already. Yeah. All right. Who is responsible for removing obstacle or impediments that affect the development team progress? All right. I think I mentioned this one before, so everyone should be able to answer the question. Yep, correctly. Who? Mhm. All right, let's see the response. Remove the obstacle, impediment. Most likely, Scrum Master. Okay. Let's see the response. Yeah, that's right. Okay, 62%. Not really the product owner. Okay, product owner, they only focus on the prioritize the product. Okay, like kind of a project manager. Okay, product owner, they often tell the development team that okay, you need to develop this one. This is the next feature. This is the priority. Let's do this A, B, C, D. Okay. Development team, no. I mean, if they can uh, clear the obstacle by themselves, that would be great. But normally, Scrum Master often jump in. All right. Okay. Next, what is the purpose of the sprint review in Scrum? What is that? Sprint review. Okay, so let's see the response together. All right, what is the purpose of the sprint review? Okay, choice A. Okay, I think that's the right option. Okay, so basically we present or deliver the progress to the client or the stakeholder. Okay, that's the end of the sprint. Okay, so to inspect the work completed during the sprint with the stakeholder. Correct. Okay, it cannot be something else. No, no. Sprint review, we normally don't discuss about the progress of the project. I mean, partly, yes, but it's not the major purpose of the sprint review. Okay. Plan the next sprint could be, okay, but not the main purpose anyway. Okay. Yeah. And sometimes the plan the next sprint, I would not say that uh it is part of the sprint review. Okay, but if you communicate with the stakeholder that okay, these are the things that you want to do in the next sprint, that kind of thing, okay, that might make more sense. Okay, but to plan the next sprint, normally it should be the sprint planning, right? Sprint planning before you start the sprint, what are the things that you need to do? Okay, so that's the sprint planning. Yeah. All right, next. Yeah. What does the development team do during the sprint retrospective? Yeah. Okay. What does the development team do during the sprint retro? All right. Okay. Let me lock the question. Okay. So basically, during the sprint retrospective, right? We as a development team, we often discuss, okay, what went well in the past, what have we done, what can be improved next time. So it's really about Yeah, retrospective. Yeah. So basically the option, the correct answer should be B, boy. Okay. Review the sprint progress and discuss ways to improve. Okay. All right. Fantastic, everyone. There we go. Kanban. Okay. Next, I'm gonna talk about the Kanban. Okay. Yeah, so Kanban. Um, Kanban basically it is originated from 1950 in Japan, and it is coming from the Toyota production system. It really adopts the concepts of the lean manufacturing or just-in-time production, and whatsoever, right? The Kanban is really about pull system. It means that as a member of the team, you actually choose a task. What do you want to work on? And then you complete the task and then go back to the step A again. Okay. Basically, you pull the task from the board and then you work on it. All right. So Kanban is simpler and it has no sprint. In short, okay, one way to describe what exactly is a Kanban, it is the way to visualize the flow of the work. Okay, the Kanban is a board. You have the backlog, in progress, to do, done, that kind of thing, and then it visualize the flow of the work, the status, whether this work is in the backlog or it is to do or it is done, that kind of thing. But let's watch the YouTube video here to explain. This is a guy from Atlassian who explained what is Kanban. Okay, all right.
Kanban is a work management system designed to help you visualize your work, limit work in progress, and maximize efficiency, which we call flow. Kanban is the Japanese word for visual signal. With so many of us working in services and technology, oftentimes our work is invisible or intangible. Kanban helps you visualize your work so you can understand it better, show it to others, and keep everyone on the same page. Most teams realize this benefit by building a Kanban board, filling it with Kanban cards, and setting up a work in progress limit. I'm Max. I'm a product marketing manager on Jira Software, and I'm naturally kind of a chaotic person. I seem to always find myself in fast-paced environments. I've been on really dysfunctional teams, and in the past been in dysfunctional organizations. The number of times that I've seen Kanban kind of bring method to the madness to change the culture of the organization and just help me get work done has me basically shouting from the rooftops about Kanban. So I actually have a lot to say, and I've broken this conversation up into a series of videos all here on our YouTube channel. So the first thing that I would ask is that you subscribe to the channel so you can hear this whole conversation play out. I want to show you something. One of my favorite things about Kanban is that Kanban starts with what you do now. This is actually one of the Kanban principles. Another being that Kanban respects current roles and responsibilities exactly the way that they are today. You simply apply the Kanban methodology to how you currently work. Another Kanban principle is that Kanban encourages acts of leadership from all levels. It's on the team to work together to make Kanban work for you. Now, if those principles are something you can get excited about, then you might want to start by making a Kanban board. So this is what I wanted to show you. It's a Kanban board that I built to visualize all the concepts we're covering in this video series. I just finished talking about the Kanban principles. And it's important that I started on the right side of the board here. Kanban is a pull system, which means when you have bandwidth, you look to the left and pull cards from left to right. Since I have bandwidth now, I'm ready to start my discussion, Kanban boards. Kanban boards like this one can be built on walls, windows, whiteboards, or with a suite of digital tools like Trello and Jira. Their purpose is to categorize all the stages of work that a work item flows through from something you haven't started to something that's done. This is called a workflow. You'll notice that each stage in the workflow has its own column, and our workflow is super simple. Your workflow might be more complex, but I'd encourage you to start as simple as possible. You can always add more columns later. So for now, I'm done with this quick explanation of Kanban boards. I'm going to take this card from something I'm doing to something that's done. Since I have bandwidth again, I'm ready to move a card from today into doing. Let's kick off our discussion of Kanban cards. For the Agile software developers among us, cards should be a familiar concept. You can think of them as one Kanban card per user story. For the rest of us, we can just back up. You can think of Kanban cards as being work items, one card per work item. You want to make cards for all the things you're working on and place them in the appropriate stage of the workflow. Kanban cards should have a title and a description and an owner. You can also add any other helpful information like a due date. Then your card should start to gain a little bit of a history as your team leaves updates on the card as it moves from one stage of the workflow to the other. Kanban cards should be small enough that your team can make progress on them in a reasonable amount of time. You don't want them so large that it'll take you weeks to move the card forward. And you don't want them so small that it's literally every task that you're working on. Can you imagine how chaotic your board would be if it was every task your team was working on? You want to avoid that. Once you build a board and you fill it with cards, you'll start to realize one of the key benefits of Kanban. You'll see columns that start to bunch up, revealing a bottleneck in your workflow. You'll also get a sense of what size cards your team can move forward in a timely manner. These efficiencies we like to call flow, and Kanban is built to help teams flow work better from the backlog to done. Once you understand flow, you can start to measure it. Kanban teams concern themselves with lead time, which is the time that it takes for a card to flow through your workflow from when you start working on it to when you're done. It's in the hands of the customer. And with that, I feel done with my conversations about lead time. And thanks to this board that I built, I actually know that I'm done. I have visual assurance that I've done all the things that I set out to do in this video. It's a good feeling.
All right, thank you. Okay. So in short, all right, it's about the flow. Okay, the flow of the task, just the way to visualize it. Whether the tasks they are in the backlog to doing block testing or done. Okay, just the flow. We different projects need different types of the agile framework. Okay, sometimes they need Kanban, sometimes they need the Scrum framework. Okay, it really depends. One of the example, let's say if I work in the HR, human resources, right? I may have a backlog of the new onboarding people. Okay, these are the people that the newcomers to the company. These are the backlog, right? And then the next thing that we need to do is to onboard them or welcome them, post advertisement, that kind of thing. Oh, welcome Mr. A to the team, blah blah blah. So this is a kind of the backlog, or we can use the Kanban board to keep track of whether okay the onboarding for Mr. A has been complete or done or not, or the onboarding for another Miss B, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Or in addition to the HR, we can also apply the Kanban board for the Toyota production system as well. For example, within this month, oh, we got a new purchase of 10 cars, 100 cars, and then you can set the work limit, right? Okay, WIP, work in progress limit. So that means within once you have the backlog, okay, you may have total backlog, you may get 1,000 cars that you need to produce within the manufacturer. And then uh, the next thing what you need to do is that you need to pull the card. Okay, we have the work in progress limit. Our manufacturer has a capacity limit of 100 car or 50 car, that kind of thing. What order that we need to do first, that kind of thing. And then you start pulling the card from the backlog to the to do. And then once you manufacture, assemble everything ready to ship the car to the client or the customer, then you move to done. Okay, so that's the Kanban. All right. And this is an example of the Kanban in the software development. In the backlog, you have a bunch of the user story during the planning. These are the things that you need to do. And then you assign who should do this kind of thing, and then what is that? You move to the in progress, develop, test it, and deliver, complete it, that kind of thing. Okay. This is an example of the Mozilla projects. So with the GitHub projects, right, you can actually manage or oversee or visualize task backlog as well. Whether let's say this is like a bug tracking, the lots of bug, okay, bug report, right? There are 100 bugs in the backlog here. Then the next step as a developer, okay, you start working on this, move to here. This is the next app that you need to do. Okay, once you do it, start working on it, and then you move to the in progress. Once you finish the PR, then submit to done, that kind of thing. So that's the point. Okay, uh, when to use the Kanban in the software development. All right. So in short, next I'm gonna talk about the 4 Agile ceremonies. I already mentioned about uh, the Scrum framework, and just want to recap again. Due to the time, we have only 30 minutes left. There are 4 types of the Agile ceremonies here. Okay, first the sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint review, and the sprint retro. Okay, these are the 4 key Agile sprint ceremony. All right. Okay, so different ceremonies have different purpose. Okay, first, for the sprint planning, basically you just craft a sprint goal and a plan that you really want to achieve by the end of the sprint. For daily Scrum, it's like every day morning you have a Scrum meeting and then you review the team progress. Okay, whether everyone is aligned, we are on track with the sprint goal or not, and that kind of thing. Otherwise, we can do some adjustment. During the sprint review, basically you have complete everything. You are ready to present the work to the stakeholder, and then you do that, right? And then during the sprint retro, you review the product development process. Basically, yeah, review the process. What went well, what can be improved in the future, that kind of thing. Okay, this point is really important. In real world, there could be like millions of features, okay, to build one mobile application. Let's say there are millions of features, and then you need to prioritize what is needed. Okay, what should be done first. And one of the framework that I highly recommend to everyone is to use the Moscow. Okay, Moscow stand for must have, should have, could have, and won't have. That's a W, won't have, right? So must have, it means that this is non-negotiable. Okay, it should be included in the minimum viable product. Must have, to build a closed application, this is the must have. Okay, otherwise we cannot like, this could not be called an online shopping application at all, something like that. uh, um, and it is unsafe without it as well. Okay, and without this project is not viable at all. Yeah, that kind of feature. What is the must have feature? Should have, it is important but not vital. Okay, may be painful to leave out, but the solution is still viable. May need some kind of workaround, right? Okay, so for example, between the product catalogs, okay, and the login, which one is must have and which one is should have, right? So I would say that catalog should be must have, otherwise no one can do the online shopping. Login, maybe should have, we should have login, because the reason is that um then we know, keep track the history, purchase history for a customer, that kind of thing, and then we can personalize, do the product personalized recommendation in the future, right? But can a customer purchase the stuff, the products, without the login feature? Yes, right? They can just put the name, put the address, do the payment, and then they don't really need an account to be a member, of course, and then they can just do the online shopping. Makes sense, everyone? Okay? Must have and should have, totally different. Could have, desirable, but not as important as should have. For example, Bitcoin payment. Do we need it? Should we accept the Visa and the MasterCard payment first? All right. Because let's say in Australia, there are only 1% who use Bitcoin as a payment method, right? Do we need to care about the 1% here? What about we prioritize the majorities of the or most popular payment option first, right? Okay. Won't have, it means that won't have this time around at all. We run out of the budget, nice to have, but has no real impact at all. For example, oh, we really want the database to be super secure and no one can change the database at all. And that's why we're gonna use the, what is that? crypto. What no? What is that? What is the database? I forget the name. Can someone tell me? In the Bitcoin, what is that called? Is that the is that called Bitcoin? No. What is that? Blockchain. Oh, we don't want to use the my SQL database at all. We really want a blockchain, right? So that the data is permanently stored forever in real life. No one can really delete, change, or edit anything. Do we need it, right? Maybe we don't, or it's not really necessary now. Okay, an example. All right. So during the sprint review, you really need to apply the Moscow or sprint planning, the task prioritization during the sprint planning, that kind of thing. Okay, that's really important. But sprint review it means that by the end of the sprint, you finish everything, you hand over or present the work to the stakeholder or the client, and in your case, there will be your tutor. Okay. So basically, the team shows the sprint outcome to the PO, product owner, and the stakeholders. Implementations of each of the user story can be approved, partially approved, or rejected. Like, oh, no, this is not considered done. Okay. In the last two cases, story can go back to the product backlog again. So that means you may need to end up with keep working on the same thing and cannot really move on. Okay, that's the impact as well. Uh, Good. Yeah, so sprint review, it is a good opportunity for the client representatives to collaborate with the team. Okay. In real world, you need to present the work in progress. Okay. These are the things that you have done over the week, where and communicate, get feedback, seek feedback from the client, whether they are happy with you or not, whether and the work and the outcome and things like that. Okay. And to conduct the sprint review, okay, normally the product owner start by explaining what has been done or what has not been done, that kind of thing. And note capital D dot done here. Done, it means that it is according to the definitions of done. It doesn't mean that you done the implementation. No, okay, no. If it has not been tested to your satisfaction, it's not done at all. Okay. The team talks about how well the sprint went. Okay, and did anything go wrong? And if so, how did the team solve the problem? That kind of thing. All right. What is it? Why the slide is missing? Okay. Ah, why it is missing? All right. Okay. So where are we? Yeah, that's the definitions of done. I don't want to repeat it, but there are a few things, okay, about the sprint review that you should be aware of, okay, which is like not something not to do, the red tape here, right? Okay. First, okay, some teams treat the sprint review as an acceptance meeting, a formal occasion where the client representative or the PO sign off on the completions of a milestone. This is really not the best practice, okay, because the PO should know the state of the project. And sometimes the acceptance testing or like the final deliverables, it takes time and tedious. You should consider sprint review as a quick and a short one, let's say 30 minutes. This is what we have done so far, and A, B, C, D. Do you think, are we ready to go? Proceed with the final acceptance testing and things like that, right? Okay, formal meeting. Yeah. Okay, so and with the sprint review, right, it should happen every sprint. So sign off is really unlikely to be needed that frequently. So yeah, you get my point? Like you really don't need the sign off for every sprint. No one will say that, yeah, you are doing well. I mean, in real world, no, unlikely. Okay. Normally the client will say, yeah, we need this. Oh, we need that. Oh, can you do this more? They always do like increase the requirement to your project. Okay, that what happens for most of the time. If you really need a sign-off meeting, schedule a longer time box with only PO, Scrum Master, and the client representative. Okay, that's the red tape. Okay, broken demo. Oh my goodness. Okay, don't even do it. Ideally, you should show a version of the working products. Okay, incrementally working deliverables. It should work. Don't show the broken demo during the presentation at all. Otherwise, what is that, right? Okay. Functionality must be completed. This can raise unreasonable expectation for future pace of the development. If somebody tries to demo partially done code, it might crash and otherwise embarrass the team. The customer or the client may not trust you at all, and you lose the reputation. All right. So what if your stakeholders really hate your product? That's a very interesting question, right? What if they hate it? What should you do? Okay. So it might be possible. What happened? Okay. In the past, from my experience, sometimes first they don't know what do they need. Okay. They know the problem, or sometimes they don't know the problem. Tell me what's the problem. Okay. And sometimes they know the problem. Okay. Tell me how to solve it. Okay. And once we propose the solution, not good enough. Can you do it better? That's the reality. So, and what happened in the worst case here, right? They hate the product. I don't like it. Okay. And uh, I would say that it is a good thing. Okay. It is a good thing. It means that you receive the feedback. You know their perception early that, okay, this is not the product, not the right product that they want. So the agile practices do not prevent you making mistake at all. Okay, it's just a process, it's just a framework, and it's a good thing when you adopt the agile practices, right? It can help you find out this kind of issues sooner. That's why rapid prototyping is really helpful, because it helps uh, the team, okay, and the client to be on the same page, right? Is this a thing that the client really wants? Okay. If the problem can be fixed and the project is a write-off, it's best to find that out before a lot of resources have been wasted. Yeah. So it is possible, but as a if you work in a startup company, one of the quote that people often apply is the fail fast. Okay, that's why in a startup company, everything move fast. You need to build the MVP, deliver, check the product market fit, talk to the client, talk to the potential end user. This is something that you want or not. Does it really help or solve the problem, right? Otherwise, you fail it, and this is a good thing because you fail early. Don't spend like a year. We thought that it's gonna work, just an assumption, but in real world, no one use it. Okay, that's a waste of money and the time. Okay. Sprint retrospective, okay, is basically the last event of the Scrum framework. Basically, the team gathers to decide what to improve and what went well in the past, what can be improved, and things like that. I mentioned this like million times. Okay. Okay. There are a few steps to do the sprint retrospective, right? First, you can do the individual reflection. Before the meeting, you spend 15 minutes, note down what worked well, okay, what didn't work for you, how should I improve in the future, and things like that. Don't complain. Complain doesn't help. We only focus on the solution. How can we improve in the future? Okay, complain doesn't help at all. Say what people might be, okay, able to do the make things better. Okay, again, I want to emphasize, don't complain. Complain doesn't help. Tell us what should we do in the future. Okay, share information. Have a meeting, okay, with team scrum master, possibly the product owner. People go through that list and then brainstorm and consolidate the suggestion and things like that. All right, yeah, brainstorm the improvement. Okay, we got the velocity wrong. One common issue that you might end up talking about is grocery overestimating or underestimating your sprint velocity. This is likely to be due to the well-known difficulty of estimating tasks accurately, which we have already discussed in the lecture. Um, Sprint, what is that? A story point estimation. First, so difficult to estimate. Second, nothing is accurate in real world. Let's say one day we just say, oh, we want to, develop the payment feature. Okay. Tomorrow, Bitcoin. Third day, oh, we need a blockchain. Oh, damn. Okay. So sometimes it can happen, but that's why it can become a scope creep. And as a product owner, they need to discuss or align with the customer that, okay, if I were you, oh, sorry, we have 2 weeks left. I think based on the capacities of the team, these are the tasks that looks like potential that we can do. If there is one or two things from the customer perspective, what would you choose that you want to put it into the product? Okay. Basically, you just ask the customer like that, right? And then it helps you to prioritize. Oh, if we do this, it is a must-have feature, and then you're gonna deliver the most values to the customer. Done. Okay, that helps solve the problem. Sometimes we cannot accommodate everything. All right, brainstorming solutions in the retro, blah blah blah. Do nothing. Okay, I'm gonna skip this one. Okay, back to the poll. All right, guys, Kanban, go for it. All right, good. Meaning of the Kanban, okay? Actually, the meaning, not that what the Kanban is, okay? Okay, this is a little bit funny question. So basically, it is a Japanese term meaning visual sign, signal or card. Yeah, meaning of the Kanban, okay? Realistically, what is the meaning of the Kanban, but not what the Kanban is, okay? Sorry for the funny question here. But what is the Kanban framework? Yes, it is one of the project management methodology. All right. Okay. Yeah, but don't worry. Just a part of life. Okay. What is the primary objectives of the Kanban? Now, okay. What is the primary objectives of the Kanban? Kanban. Yeah, Kanban. Kanban. All right. Let's see the response in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see the answer together. Answer choice A, to maintain a sustainable workflow. Okay. Yeah, that's the the primary objectives of the Kanban. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Next, in Kanban, what does the term WIP stand for? All right, go for it. WIP. All right, let's move on. Okay. The answer is the work in progress. Okay, the majority of the student got it right. Well done, everyone. All right, we are being close to the end. What is the significance of visualizing work in Kanban? All right, guys, speed up. Okay, speed up. We need to be quick here. We are in a sprint. What is the significance of visualizing work in Kanban? Okay. Put the answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, all right. Yeah, Kanban, right? Why it helps? Okay, it helps team to identify bottlenecks it enhances communication among the team members, it provides transparency into the workflow, all of the above. I would say that the most correct answer should be C. Okay, let's see the response, everyone. All of the above. Maybe let me think whether it helps team to identify the bottlenecks or not. Yeah, potentially yes. Okay, because when we have a backlog, we have a work in progress, it limit, right? Then we know where's the bottleneck and things like that. It enhances communications among the team members. Not really. I'm not too sure. Yeah, I feel that the goals of the Kanban, I feel that it should be the transparency into the workflow. What I mean is that whether the card is really in the backlog to do or done, it's about the status of the card. Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure about the communication and things like that. So yeah. Okay. Just my opinion. All right, next, which of the following is not a core principles of Kanban? Okay, which one is not? Which one is not? Okay. All right. Okay. Uh, let's see the response. I think the one that is not should be the let me think, strict deadline. Okay, it should not be the strict deadline. Okay, all right, majorities of the students got it correct. Limit work in progress, that's a core principle, okay, of the Kanban. Optimize for predictability. Well, what I mean is that when you know when the flow of the work is transparent, then you can basically predict whether uh, you are on track or not, right? Let's say if the flow is being static or stay like that for many weeks, and you still have a bunch of the works in the backlog, that kind of thing, okay, then you can predict that, okay, something is wrong, and then you are going to fail. The project is going to fail, okay? Yeah, strict deadline. Basically, the Kanban doesn't have any deadline attached to it at all, okay? So it's not, yeah, that's the correct answer. All right, next, which of the following is not a category in the Moscow method? Oh, this is fun. Okay. Yeah. Which one is that? Oops, sorry. uh, one second. I got confused. Okay, all right. Which of the following is not a category in the Moscow method? You can even pronounce Moscow, Moscow, really up to you, okay? Yeah, okay. All right, this is easy. Okay, let's see the response together. Yeah, the answer is would have, okay? It's not, okay? The correct answer, sorry. The right one should be won't have, okay? Won't have. Must have correct, should have correct. Could have is one of the Moscow method. And the last one is won't have, okay? Not would have. That's good. Next, which, okay. Which category in the Moscow method represents requirements that are crucial for the project success? Oh, we need to get 100% everyone. Okay, please. Otherwise, I cannot sleep well. All right, 10. More. We need more response. Okay, so I think let's take a look at the answer. It should be must have. All right. Yeah, crucial. Okay. Yeah. Next one. Yeah. Quick and done. In 5 seconds, guys. Which category in the Moscow method represents requirement that won't be implemented in the current project iteration, but could be considered for the future? What is that? All right, very good. Let's see the response. What could have, I think. Okay. Yes, yep, okay. Could have, okay. Because the question already say could be considered in the future. All right. Okay, what is a software contract? I'm gonna run the lecture, this one, quickly, and then go back to the quiz, and then we're gonna finish the lecture. Okay, so basically, contract, right? This is really happen when like for the outsourcing company or the consulting firm, that kind of thing. Let's say you work in a team. No, sorry. Let's say a client asks you to develop a software project, that kind of thing. That's a contract. Okay, you need to write down the agreement. It is AKA a kind of the requirement specification documentation. Okay, and there are two types of the software contracts. One could be the closed scope, and another one is the open scope, open end. Right? We don't define what the scope is, but the payment is going through by the what is that, like the man hours, the resources over time. Okay, that's the open scope. Otherwise, the closed scope is that, okay, these are the things that need to be delivered, and then we need to complete by A, B, C, D. Okay, amount of time, that kind of thing. Okay, so that's a closed scope and the open scope. The closed scope, normally the scope is defined by the customer. They already set the price, the deadline, defined by the supplier, that kind of thing. However, for the open scope, right, this is more like consulting work, or like outsourcing. Okay, we need someone to help us develop this kind of thing. Can someone help us fix the bug, that kind of thing? So basically, the payment will be the man hour or the day rate, that kind of thing. Okay, so different contract have different pros and cons. The closed scope, the scope is already predefined, so there is unlikely that you can adjust things like that. Okay, but open scope, the scope can be anything, right? So client can easily change the scope, the requirement and things like that as well. Okay, and because when with the open scope, right? It means that uh, we don't need to have like a strict agreement. Okay, so client can easily change the supplier from time to time as well. Okay, yeah. So that means here we're gonna talk about the client, customer, and the end users. They are different. Okay, they are not the same people. Many interested stakeholders are normally coming from the outside of your organization. For example, who pay for the product, the CEO or the whatsoever, or who make the decision, or who will use the product, that kind of thing. Okay, so ideally, you really want to satisfy all of these people, right? And software engineering books sometimes roll all of these stakeholders together and refer them as client. But in real world, it is more complicated. Okay. For example, code application, code could be your client, the customer could be code customer, and the end user could be the code customer as well. So they are not the same people at all. All right. Easy. Just a summary. Contract development, this is part of the developing the contract side, the agreement with the client. Basically, let's say if you work with the product owner, no, sorry. So your organization producing a product for an external client. Yeah, this is contract. You develop the product for someone else, and the client is someone else, right? Okay, they develop the requirement. As a product owner, you talk with the team. These are the things that the client needs. So the development team just kick start and develop it, that kind of thing. Okay, so that's one type, contract development. But the product development is totally different. Okay, contract is contract, right? Okay, but the in terms of the product development, basically the product owner act as customer facing person, they need to talk to the user, talk to the potential users, talk to everyone. That's the role of the product owner. Okay. Then and they need to communicate or discuss with the marketing, the support, and things like that as well. Yeah. So that's the product owner. Or this is another model of the software development, in-house development. Let's say at Monash University, right? We have student, we have academic staff, one person from as a product owner at the e-solution. They talk to the student, talk to the university, talk to the executive VP, vice chancellor. What do they want? How should we improve the Moodle, the learning management system, and things like that? Once they get the requirement, and then they ask the ESOL software engineering teams to develop and yeah, deliver it, that kind of thing. This is an example of the in-house development. All right, okay. Let's do a few more questions and then we're gonna enjoy the dinner. All right. What is that? What is the software contract? Oh, seriously. Okay. I talk so much. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What is a software contract? Everyone. Get it quick, get it quick. I'm glad that I can actually finish the lecture on time, okay? Finish everything in 2 hours. And again, I really want to thank everyone for your attention, participating in the lecture, actively engage with the post activities and things like that. I really appreciate, okay? Yeah. All right, okay. Let's see the answer. It is, what is that? Let's see the response. Okay, that's a funny thing. Okay, so the correct answer is not A. Okay, A is a legal agreement, maybe yes, but governing the use, development, licensing of software is not the software contract. Okay, basically the contract should outline. Okay, the technical specification is like the requirement specification and things like that. Okay, make sense? Okay, so the correct answer should be B here. Okay. Any questions? Okay, everyone. And final question to everyone. What do you think about the lecture today? I hope everyone enjoy. I tried my best to, run the lecture online. It's not easy at all. And with lots of difficulties around the world, so I hope that yeah, this lecture, you will find it useful and you can apply for the rest of your future career as well. Okay, so let me know what you think, and I really appreciate your feedback. I can see lots of feedback every week. Okay, so I really want to thank everyone. And that's all from my lecture today. If you have any questions, send me an email. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of the day and the week. Okay, yeah, thank you. Bye bye.